All right, we are live, and this time on a Thursday night. HellaBass live, and we're going up against the kickoff of the NFL. So I thought I might as well get a big time guest so that we can hang and draw the attention of the crowd. And we got Cheetah Xiong. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
How'd I do?
Hey, you did. I mean, that was pretty good. Pretty good at most.
Nice. Yeah, Jack. I don't know why you'd want to watch the NFL. That's boring. Love to hear in the chat. How's the video and the audio? I want to make sure that's good before we get too far in. Bassmaster Matt says he's watching from the boat. I don't know if that means you're like in the boat in the garage or you're out night fishing or what, because it's pretty dark where I am. So where what are you doing in the boat, Matt? I mean, we can see Cheetah's in the boat, but he's in the garage.
Yeah, my garage. I got good lighting in here, so.
But otherwise, like, see, we already got a few dozen people in here pouring in. And we'll get rolling here as soon as. Oh, there we go. Now all the chat's lighting up. Let's see here. Never heard anybody say it. Must not be too bad. Maybe nobody can hear what I'm saying, and they don't know to say that the audio is good.
Yeah, I'm worried they can't hear me. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So we rescheduled because I had some conflicts. I was busy. Sean Z says it's good, so there we go.
Nice.
It worked better for both of us coming off the week, the holiday week, kids sports, all that things. Awesome. He's having ice cream and beer and playing with tackle. That sounds like a win.
Yeah. I'll actually be doing the same thing here soon. I'll have the ice cream.
Can you like text in and be like, can somebody bring me some ice cream?
Yeah.
Nice. So we're going to get started. We got a few things to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about lacrosse. We're going to talk about how we got there. We're going to talk about nationals, all kinds of good things. Spoiler alert, if you want to wait to see how the videos go because you haven't followed along on how the tournament went, then this is your official warning to stop watching this live stream. Wait for the rest of my videos to come out this week, and then you can watch the replay later. But assuming you're okay with getting the spoiler alert, then you can hang out tonight. So that's your official warning. I guess before we get too far, a couple things that I want to take care of. One, I do have a new code at Omnia Fishing, and that is HB Fall 15 instead of HellaBass Summer 15. So I know, like, obviously there's a lot of people using it because literally I was down at lacrosse fishing, and like September 1st, the first day of the tournament, the code must have switched and I didn't know it. And I'm getting like these comments and DMs are like, bro, what's the new code? Like, I need my fix. I need my discount. So HellaBass or HB Fall 15. So now you won't get carpal tunnel writing out HellaBass Summer 15 to get your discount at Omnia. So
nice.
Have you shopped at Omnia, Cheetah?
Oh yeah. I've shopped there all the time. Good. Me and Pete, we're good friends, and that's how he ended up getting me all hooked on that. And yeah, I like supporting the guys, and so yeah, I mean, order stuff there all the time. Actually, I need to order some more stuff here soon. So
nice.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, no man.
Yeah.
Can't buy.
Thanks, guys.
Can't stop buying tackle.
Yeah. What's up, Darius? Thank you, Jason. And then the other thing, Arsenal. Obviously, this show is as good as it is, and the channel and the support we get from Arsenal Fishing, which is awesome. So a little teaser alert. I think let's look at so they are just coming out with these brand new fishing gloves. They're not even on the site yet, but these will be coming out real soon. I just got a pair today. So far, impressed. They're actually pretty lightweight, and they got like a nice kind of like so they don't get too dirty. And then like these like contour lines. I don't know if you can see those. They're kind of like lake contours, but those are actually like raised rubber, so it actually has a really tacky grip to it.
Nice.
I don't know. Do you fish with gloves?
Ever? Actually, I was just gonna ask because I've been wanting to look into some, and I was wondering how do they fit. I got small hands, So
yeah, so I got the I've got a big pair for myself, and then I've got the smaller pair, which I'll probably give away next week. So You might want to tune in next week. Maybe you can win a pair.
Yeah.
But so this is the large, extra large size, which fits pretty good. And then I had Michael try them on because he's like 6'15" and at work today, and they fit his hand. So he played like D3 basketball, and he's really tall. So if he fits his hand, they'll probably fit your hands and my hands. So there's 2 sizes. But so watch for these coming out real soon. More to come on that. But also, you guys, I actually got my statistics back. Appreciate all the support you guys have been doing at Arsenal Fishing, because you guys are definitely using my code there as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's catch up on chat. Let's see. All right. Sean Z said he just got some of the Ichikawa hooks from them. I've got some of their trebles. I haven't played around with them, but those are hooks I definitely want to try. Have you tried the Ichikawa hooks at all?
Me, myself? No.
Yeah.
Nope.
So John scooped up a couple Tatulas. Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Tad's in the house. What's up, Tad?
What's up, Tad?
Awesome. All right. Jason said he's going to be on it when he gets those gloves come in. So awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, Shanzi got the flipping hooks. I want to try those, but I've got so many flipping hooks. I need to burn through some of them before I buy some new ones. All right. Well, that's the business side of things. So Cheetah, I remember you winning the co-side at Whitefish at a distance, but
yeah,
honestly, other than maybe I shook your hand, said congrats there in the parking lot, but we had really never met until last week. So I don't know a ton about you. Like, it sounds like you grew up in Minnesota fishing. Like, what's your background and how did you get into a Bass Nation club and when did you do that?
So, yeah, I mean, the crazy thing, like, being a part with my family, it's like my parents and a lot of my brothers, like, they hunt a lot and I don't hunt at all, and it's like, it's insane because, going back to, being born in California, when I was a little kid, my parents were like, "You love water," and it was insane because they'll always tell me this funny story of me like being 3 years old and we got to the freaking near to a little lake, and as soon as they opened up the door, I freaking just booked out of the freaking van and jumped into the water still with my diaper on, and they're like ever since then, like you are like you love water, and so. When we moved here from California, my brothers and them got into fishing, and pretty much, my parents, they didn't fish much, they pretty much just worked all the time, and just being around my brothers, that's how I got into fishing. I can still remember going to a little lake and just standing on the rock and throwing a little jerk bait and just catching little 6-inch bass, and I thought I was already going to hold the Bassmaster Classic over my head. It was just one of those things where it's like, dude, I love this, and then, I was a part of that group where I'm a little older. I didn't, even though I look super young, where we didn't have the middle school and high school stuff. So, kids that have that now take full advantage of it, and I had to wait until I graduated from high school to actually sign up for a bass club. And the first club I actually started out was Stellar Bassmasters, and those guys there, Jeffrey and all of them, and I still hang out with those guys and talk to them, and it was funny because I didn't even actually sign up. I just thought about it, and then the girlfriend actually signed me up. And one day, here comes Jeffrey, calls me, and I'm like, "Who the heck is this?" I'm sitting there at work. And I pick up, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? I heard you're interested in joining a bass club." And I'm like, yeah, I didn't fill out any paperwork, and
he's like, who's this crazy stalker, and why are you calling me?
So, literally, I was like lost because I was like, I was like starting to fill out the form, and I was gonna send it in, but then all of a sudden, he's like, "Well, it shows here that you're interested and you don't have a boat," and the whole 9 yards of me not just wanting to join. And I come home from work and I told the girlfriend, she's like, "Oh yeah, I signed you up." I was like, "What?" like, well, yeah, I got my first tournament in like 2 weeks, and I actually fished on Pocagma, and all I had at the time was like 2 bait casters and 1 spinning rod, and I kid you not, I got my ass kicked so bad, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like, there's no way anyone can compete in this, and pretty much, walked away with my freaking tail between my legs and just sat there and went back home. And thank goodness, the girlfriend was kind enough to kind of cheer me back up and say, just go give it another shot. And I was like, all right, and went fished my club tournament and actually did pretty good on the back of the boat. I ended up winning as a coal from the back of the boat, just in a little club deal. And so then I got hooked, just been hooked ever since. So, now I got my own boat, and it's like, dude, I can't stop.
Yeah, that's awesome. So actually, Jeff Nelson was in Gopher when I was in Gopher.
Oh, really?
In like the mid to late 90s. So,
wow.
Actually, his first club tournament win, he barely beat me, and I finished second on like upper and lower mission by Brainerd. Like,
yep.
So I've known Jeff forever. He's a really good dude. So what year did you join Stellar, and how long were you there?
I think it was in it was right after high school, and I graduated in 2010. So it was like 2011 is right when I because I started, I just started doing some work just to get some money and save up to buy more tackle. So yeah, right in 2011. So I've been doing it for quite a while now.
Nice. So how long did you spend in Stellar before you joined the club with the coolest name, Milfoil Mafia?
Yeah, Milfoil Mafia. Yeah. So actually, I was with them ever since 2011 until just like pushing 2 years ago. So what, about 7 to 8 years I was with them.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and I fished as a coal for 3.5 years, give or take. And I only say the half because I did it, and then I ended up buying a boat midway through. But yeah, so I learned a lot from fishing in the back of the boat with those guys. And then at the same time, I can't remember what that trail was, but they had like 4 events, and so I signed up for all of those too, and I fished in the back of the boat. So I was always fortunate, to get paired up with guys that were sticks, and just I always asked them as many questions as I can, even on the water. And at times I felt like I was annoying, but it was because I wanted to learn. I want to be able to compete. So I as a coal, that's what I did. I asked tons of questions and just kind of figured out how to fish from the back. So I got, I'm not gonna say I got that dialed or anything, but it's kind of like there's just certain things that you always bring that you're a coal, So you always have to think outside of the box, where you're like, oh, I can't bring all just straight bait casters because that's all I'm gonna do is power fish. It's like, just doesn't work, And I figured that out fairly soon, and got pretty good at it. And then pretty much what happened was I ended up this is while I was still with Stellar. I ended up fishing. I think it was a state tournament. It was up on Whitefish. Actually, it was up on Whitefish, and I'm not gonna say any names, but I was fishing in the back of the boat, and we got to a point with some weed line, and he was like, all I throw up here is football jigs, and I was like, all right, cool, and I was in the back of the boat throwing a jig worm, and boom, here I go, 4-pounder. He lands it, and then throw back out there, and I'm throwing off, kind of a little bit off more, and boom, I catch another 4-pounder. He literally turns around and looks at me, and he's like, this is why I effing hate co-anglers. You guys don't put in any work, And he's like, you guys don't put in any work. You just show up and just catch all our big fish. And he looked at me, he's like, those are mine. I'm taking those. And I was like, hey, dude, like, we can keep at this all night, but if you're going to literally push that, I'm going to get us both DQ'd, because that's not cool. I caught him.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and, and afterwards, he came and apologized once he cooled down after weighing, and pretty much that was my moment where I was like, I got a reality check, and I was like, dude, I gotta go buy my own boat, So I ended up working hella hours and just saved up some money and went and bought a little 16-foot nitro and fished out of that for like 3 years, And then fished out of that, and then ran into Nick Madison, and he pretty much he's still the vice president right now of
Sure.
Minnesota Mafia, and he was like, hey, they're a new club, and he's like, you're a pretty straightforward guy, and I like your attitude, and he's like, we need a president right now because the original president, Jeff, he just had a kid, and just with the whole thing, and he just wants to take a little time off. So I ended up pretty much like, yeah, dude, I'll do it. And during that time, I just left St. Cloud State, and I was pretty much, it was three of us guys actually that were managing that, and we were fishing the St. Cloud State Bass Club there.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, I did that too. and then going to Milford Mafia, and then pretty much it was like, yeah, dude, like you should take up being the president, and I did that, and yeah, it's been an awesome move. I pretty much let the guys at Stellar know, like, hey, I'm just moving forward. We're still all friends, but then just moving to something new, and it's panned out for me pretty good. So
yeah, awesome. So was Whitefish your first TOC, or had you fished the Minnesota TOC before that?
No, that was for Milford Mafia. That was my first TOC. But then prior to that, I fished with Stellar. I fished up on Island. That was a while. That was a ways back. I fished on Island. I fished on.
So not the most recent Island, the one before that.
No, the one way before that. Like
yeah, that was actually the one my old man won that one.
Oh, really? Yeah. So
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So yep, I fished that one. That was my first TOC, and then I think I skipped the next one, or did I fish that next one? Because the next one was on the river, pool 6, 5, and 7, right?
Yeah.
Or is that the following?
Yeah, it was around that time. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So I ended up
that one on the river is the one that I went to Monroe or went to Indiana that put me in my first nationals. Was that state tournament?
Oh, really? Yeah. And that one, funny story with that one, I actually didn't qualify for that one. I actually went down as an alternate to work, but then during that time they had the alternates tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I fished that, and you know how you catch your 4, but you only weigh your 3. So I ended up catching 4, and my 4th one, I kid you not, I swear he was 14, right? Always on the river. And when we came in, he was just like that much shy. And pretty much they was like, dude, you gotta DQ your bag. And I was like, what? Like I would have won that alternates tournament and then qualified to fish for state. And it was like, dude, in my 3, I think I came in with like 11 something, So it was a good bag for 11 for 3 fish, and but yeah, just that little one that was short. So after that, I don't think I fished any other ones. And then whitefish, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So last summer the journey begins. We both fit whitefish TOC last August. It was, I mean, the bite was decent, but it wasn't super wide open, I didn't think. And you fish as a non-boater, I fish as a boater, obviously different clubs. You pretty much walked away with the non-boater side. You crushed it. I mean, you had a pretty big margin of victory, if I remember right.
Yeah. There were some boaters that came up to me like, dude, I qualify, but your bag is heavier than mine, and you're a co. And I was like, yeah, dude, it was insane. My day one, I got paired up with Jesse Drummer. I'll butcher it every time. And cool guy, and we got along just fine. And it was like one of those things where he was like, yeah, dude, this is the spot. And like I said, fishing out the back of the boat is like, there's just certain things I know I need to do. And he was pretty much throwing a Carolina rig up front, and I saw on the graph, although there's some coontail over here, and I just threw a Ned rig out there and just pretty much let it soak, and I mean, I got the right bites. It got to a point where he was like, what the hell, just like, how are you catching all these fish right now, dude? And I was like, dude, I'm just let my Ned rig soak out there. And that I came in with like 14 something, and I think second place was sitting, I think me and because I was sitting first, and then I think second place had a 13-pound bag or something like that. So, for sure, when I went to day 2, and I got paired up with one of the Iowa guys, Brad Leiferman, we worked
Mhm.
in shows together at the Northwest Sports Show, and this is my first time actually. We always talk, but it's like actually going out and fishing. It's like everyone's so busy, so it was like we got paired up, and I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome. I get paired up with the legend. It's like we've always talked about fishing, and at the same time, one of the Iowa guys. So it's like, hell yeah, this is even better. And he was like, yeah, dude, we're just gonna go out there and we're gonna flip all day, pretty much. And we went out there, and that's literally what we did. And he was like, I want, as easy as it is to just let me just catch him, right? He's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make you work for it. And I looked at it, I was like, yeah, make me work, dude. Like I want to like actually like win was like pride, So
Yep.
yeah, we went out there, and it was a struggle to catch my 5, but right as soon as I caught that 5th one, man, I literally just got on my knees, and I was like, thank God. It was like, holy smokes, I got 5 in the box. And he looked at me, he's like, dude, you have this. You won. And I was like, I don't want to jinx it, just like how it was at regionals, I was like, I don't want to jinx this, but it was pretty much like I knew I won, and sure enough, man, we get in there, and it was just like I came in like 12 something, and I was like, man, where's second place? And he's like, oh, I bombed. I was like, dude, I got this. This was like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was just one of those things where like whitefish is one of those fisheries I like to fish because there's a lot of fish. But then to go out there with Jesse and go out there with Liferman just to fish it different from how I've always went out there and just kind of fun fished it. It was like, this is, always learning, always learning. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And the first day, do you have all green ones?
That's all I had was green ones both days. Yeah. I wish I would have caught some brown ones out there because I know some guys got them pretty dang good. Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things where large small panned out for me.
Yeah, I think you had more weight than I did because you had like 26 pounds or 27 pounds, and I think I had like 11 and 13, and I was 11th. So yeah, so I mean, I had a smaller bag the first day. I moved up. I had like a pretty good bag the second day, but ended up like 2/10 in by 11th.
Nice.
So I moved up from like 20th to like 11th or something like that, and I was like, well. Nice. That sucks. Like, I was like, man, because I just like. So then I would have had regionals last year right after that, but I was like bummed, like, because like that's my goal every time I go to state is I'm like either gonna win it or top 10, or like that's those are my 2 goals, and anything other than that is unacceptable. So
yep.
I was like, there's a chance. 11th, it could happen. Literally 12 months later, it still hasn't happened. Nobody's dropped out. Michael, who's my good buddy, I work with him. He's my team partner for the TBF team trail.
Yep.
I would pump him, be like, hey, how'd the meeting go? Did anybody sound like they were iffy or they weren't sure? Or you know what I mean? He's like, no. And I was like, man. And then they had that Tuesday night tournament, like Tuesday, the 25th, right? Or whatever, the week before lacrosse, and still nobody, right? And the week before that, I had sent a note to Mark and Peter and be like, hey, if anybody last minute, literally the night before the tournament, I will show up if you need me. And it finally happened.
Nice.
But I guess before we get into that,
that was a blast to have you down there, man. I mean, just listen to all you guys talk. Like I said, man, it was like, dude, it was like so informational, and it helped. I guarantee it helped all the coiners out, But
yeah. So here's a good question before we get into lacrosse. They want to know, what's your favorite baits for the back of the boat?
Oh yeah, so like I said, I don't know if you guys can see it, but just a Ned Zone. That's always one of my go-to. I just throw it on a medium, the 2500 Fuego, dyed Petula. And then another thing that I like to, I didn't even put it out here, but then pretty much a Ned rig, drop shot. And that's one reason why I always ask the boater too, like the night before, like kind of like how we're gonna fish. So if he's we're gonna do nothing but a flipping bite, then of course you got to bring a rod to flip with. But yeah, I mean, those are always going to be my two rods I will have with me at all times. There's always a Ned rig and a drop shot. Like those at the back of the boat, you can't go wrong. Or even another one, and this is all spinning rods mainly. Just a Senko, just something that, um, you know, your boater's up concentrating on one spot. You can just cast that around and literally pick that apart. And then now on a bait caster side, I'll have a swim jig, a chatterbait tied up, something moving, but we're actually fishing deeper water than, of course, the football jig. You can't go wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, for sure, my two rods I'm always gonna have in the back of the boat. One's a Ned rig and a drop shot. So,
and those are the two that I try to leave as low in my rod locker as possible, and only take like there's a glass part of my rod locker, and I have to break in case of emergencies to pull those out.
That's why I'm in the back with the emergency rods, making sure I'm fishing different, and that's why it always works out. That's awesome.
Yeah, Sean and I do like top waters, but I'm so stuck on my old Vixens and my Yellow Magics that I rarely throw anything else. So I have not chucked out the Nishini top water. Have you tried any of the Nishini baits?
No, I haven't tried any of that stuff myself personally. It's like there's so many baits right now. I'm like I'm terrible at that too. I'm so stuck to like certain baits that I like just have. So it's like it's hard for me to branch out and like try like newer brands or like a newer style. And it's like I need to do it more, but it's just one of those things where it's like I keep catching fish doing these, so it's kind of hard for me to branch off.
Nice. So yeah, La Crosse was just last week. Cheetah had a whole year to just prepare and be ready and think about it. And me, I got the call at like 10 a.m. on Friday. Was in the off limits period already as I was driving to Intune Marine to get some maintenance done on the cat, and literally was like, all right, yeah, I'll make it happen. Like, let me call the wife, let me text work, like tell them I'm not going to be in next week, and let's party. And I was just like I was like on cloud nine. I like was driving to Intune, and I'm just like, I can't believe it. I was stoked. Like I was so pumped.
We didn't even give you a proper hazing. That was like the number one thing in the chat.
We did. You just it happened before you got there because you came so late.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. So that was great. We had hotel rooms. We were set up. We had a pretty good situation. We all stayed together in the same hotel. We had kind of like the back lot of the Country Inn and Suites. La Crosse just for the Minnesota team, which was kind of nice. We all got to hang out and every night, and we had team meetings. The fishing was stingy in practice. Like we weren't getting a lot of bites. My practice video is up if you guys haven't seen that. And like I was actually like frustrated because like I've fished La Crosse a decent amount in BFLs and other tournaments, and I was like struggling to get bites. Like I was really like frustrated, and a lot of the other guys in the team were too, but there was a few guys getting bites, and we pieced some things together as a team. There was even talk about Cheetah becoming a boater for a minute, which you're probably happy that you didn't now. Like it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
So
that was like the number one thing after day 2. I was like, thank goodness I didn't become a boater.
nice.
Yeah, because even that stuff that I found didn't help fish again day 2. So I was like, well, that would have screwed me in the pooch right there.
Yeah, you probably would have caught him pretty good on day 1, and then day 2 would have been a ghost town on you, and you'd have been like,
Yep, exactly. No.
But yeah, so we fished, like we had our 3 days of practice, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think you showed up the second night or later on the first night or something. So you got 2 or whatever days of practice. And the tournament rolls around, and like we both had pretty good day ones. You who did you draw, and where was he from on day 1?
I had a gentleman by the name of Jared Newth, or it starts with a K, so it's either Newth, but he is from Missouri, and the gentleman, he qualified for the Classic back in 2014, so he fished that, and then ever since then he's just been doing all the same deal, club, and then qualifying for regionals and trying to make it back. And I'm totally honored to fish with the guy. Cool guy. So pretty much what we ended up doing was day one. When I texted him that night, I was like, "Hey, what are we doing?" He's like, "All we're gonna do is flip and frog." So, granted, right away I was like, "Oh crap, I can't bring my deadly Nedley and my drop shot," but I still brought my Ned rig just in case. Just because if we're flipping weed lines and stuff, I could throw a Ned rig out there. But then we went down pool 9. And if everyone saw on Bass Heads, Justin Snyder posted that up. Yeah, there was a terrible accident right in front of us. A guy pretty much spun his boat. His co-angler flew out and skipped across the river. We turned right back around and went and helped them out and got them to safety. And the guy went to the hospital. So we were happy that they were both safe. And the lock guys, they were like, "What are you guys doing?" Because we actually went to the back of the line. And he was like, "No, what are you guys doing? You guys are going up front." So he made us budge everybody, and we were right up front, And sure enough, we go back. We just pretty much fish. Pool 9 is a lot of backwater sloughs and stuff. So went to one of his little spot that he pre-fished and caught him, and pretty much it was all same deal, duckweeds, fishing a frog, and he was up front. There was just like that nice bead line. We're probably sitting in give or take 7 to 8 feet of water. Actually, he even said himself that water went up a lot because when he was pre-fishing, that water was like 3 to 4, but we were sitting in granite. I swear it was like 7 to 8. So, we pretty much I was just frogging in the back. He was flipping up front, and I was fortunate to catch 2 of them right away off of a frog. So that was my day 1 limit right there. So,
yep. Nice. And then you caught them all on the frog, or?
Yep. Day 1 was on the frog in that same pattern, he was trying to throw a frog too, but then he was, like I said, man, he was working that thing like a freaking workhorse. He was just constantly moving it, and by the time he was already out there, it was already back to the boat. And during practice and during our meetings, and those meetings helped a lot. Like it was a slow frog bite. It was amazing.
So you were just back there just stitching it like Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch.
And he was blown away. And I kind of think after a while, he kind of looked at why I was working it so slow. After I caught my second one, and he did slow down a little bit, but I just, he probably didn't do that during practice. So it was just one of those things where he just couldn't do it. And after like 10 times, he just started going back, But yeah, I mean, it was that slow frog bite, and thank goodness we talked about it during our meetings, and that caught me 2 of them for day 1.
Yeah, and then like that helped me too, like because then like when I did it and I got that first bite, I was like, okay, I can do this now. Like,
it was one of those like, really, like you guys want it that slow? Like, oh my gosh, But,
yeah. Speaking of Polish Pete in the house, what's up, Pete?
Yeah, what's up, Pete?
So Ryan asked a question. Let me. So the worm mentioned by Cheetah was the Ned zone, right? This is what you're talking about, right?
Yep. The Ned zone.
What colors? What's like your top 2 or 3 colors?
So one of my favorite colors, the 309, and then my second, of course, is down right there, and then you can never go wrong with green pumpkin. Yep, green pumpkin, and then I got the and then another one too is just all. I think if I'm right, there is all, or it's kind of like I can't remember the exact name, but it's that like white and then green top. But yeah, those are my three colors that I stick with, just because it's simple. It's not too out of the box.
Sure.
Yep.
Nice. So you can get those at Omnia, Ryan, and you know the drill. Let's see here. Bassmaster Matt says, any football jig tips, weights, depths?
I mean, and you definitely know how to fish football just like I do. I mean, for me, anywhere from 10 and shallower. If you're fishing, especially rocks, right along bead lines, from 10 feet and shallower, I would just throw a half on. You can't go wrong with that. But then after that, once it gets real deep, that's when I go to that 3/4 ounce. And I've been a real big fan of, I used to just throw straight floral, but every time I set the hook, it just seems like they weren't really pinned, but you just had to keep pressure on them, and especially the 3/4 arms too. That head on that thing is so heavy where you really have to give it a good for that hook to really penetrate, just because you're moving so much lead. So now, everyone's splicing lines, so I started doing that now too, and yeah, I mean, I splice mine with I just pretty much run a 40-pound braid, Daiwa J braid with 20-pound Samurai floral. This stuff right here, that's my stuff right there. Yeah, so 20 pounds, I'll splice that on there. Granted, 10 feet. And that's what I throw on with my football jigs now, and just slowly drag it on the bottom.
Nice. Cool. Looks like you got a fan here saying congratulations.
Yeah, that's my boy. Hey, that's the guy that ties on my hair jig. That's my boy. I call him Tiger, but yeah, as you can see, his name's Armon. That's my best boy right there. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Hammond, isn't that the last name of your day 3 boater?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Adam.
But it was Adam though.
My day 3
I don't know. Must be related. Logan, we'll get into the frogs here in a second, I think. Or what frog were you throwing?
I was just throwing a booyah.
Okay. Pad crasher.
Yep. Pad crasher. And that was the ticket. I stuck 2 rattles in mine just so it gave it weight, because those pads, all that duckweed stuff it had some good grass. That eelgrass I was making it super thick. So I put 2 rattles in it, and I believe that made the difference. I don't know if that's what you guys are doing too, or yours are already weighted, right?
Yeah. I got some show and tell here in a second. So yeah, Cam, he's spliced. He's talking about a braid to fluoro knot. Which braid to fluoro knot do you like for your football jigs?
See, I've been doing that FG knot, and I can't get that thing down. So I just stick with the crazy Alberto or modified Albright. To me, it's just simple, and it works. So I've got it down where it works for me.
Nice. Yeah. Works for Justin Lucas, so it must be pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, Jarrett, we're going to get to day 3 here in a little bit. Just hang tight. So yeah, my day 1 was so what did your boater have? You had like 5.5 pounds for your 3. What did your boater? Did he get a limit, or
he only came in? He only caught 2, and he came in with less weight than me. He only had like 4. So yeah, he was hurting. He pretty much already looked at me and said, "I don't want to fish tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, you can't have that attitude, man. I was like, just come and fish, dude." So I was like, "Don't do that, man." But yeah, he only had 2 fish, and yeah, he was I swear he only had like 4 pounds. So, Yep. But
yeah, it was stingy. Like I know, like there was a couple guys, like my day 2 guys, like, thank you for showing me that there are fish in this river.
That's awesome. Yep.
But I should say, like, you guys watched my practice video maybe today, maybe you haven't. If you haven't, but I literally, the first day I spent 12 hours in the river and I caught 3 bass. Set the hook on everything. Yep. Northern, some drum. Day 2, I never had a keeper bite. George, who was with me, caught 1 on a Ned rig on a closing dam. Day 3, Kevin and I shook off 6 keeper bites in 10 hours. It was not a good practice. Like, I was frustrated. I was feeling a little optimistic after day 3, but it wasn't good by any means. So my day 1, like, that tournament video will be coming out probably Saturday. So we'll get the tournament videos cooking. So check those out. But like, I was just watching the footage, and it was 8:40 in the morning. We had a 6:15 takeoff. I was boat number 1. I did not catch my first keeper until 8:40 in the morning.
Yep.
I ran my first 4 areas where we had pulled on 5 of those 6 bites and did not catch a fish. Or a couple shorts, but
yep.
So it was tough. But then I got into an area that I had caught smallmouth in the past. No, so I went and tried a sand drop that was too shallow and didn't have enough flow on it in practice on Monday. But I was like, things are changing. The flow was way faster on my sand drops I started on. There was more current. I was like, maybe it will be good now. Maybe it'll gotten right. So I went in there and I caught like a 3 1/4 smallie like right away, and I was like,
Nice.
dang, like at least I got a good one, right? Like, okay, I haven't caught a fish in like 3 hours, but like, okay, we got a good one. I went and checked some other stuff. Tried this like little duckweed point that was near a sand drop that didn't produce anything. Frogging super slow, and like got one. Like, let me see if I can actually pull something up here. Let's try something here.
Nice.
We need to sort by. This might be worth it. All right. Let's try this here. No, it says it can't do that. All right.
Oh,
We'll try it different. We'll get it. We'll get it. It just will have to do it a different way. Be patient. We get a sneak peek here. All right. Now we're looking live from the river. So we just finished a sand drop. Now moving down this bank, and I get to this little point coming up right here, like right in here, coming up to this. And there's a nice map, but you guys can watch. Like, we were talking about how slow we were fishing it, but like,
yeah,
it's actually the next cast, I think.
That's
I'm actually working it because it's out from it right now, but watch the cast where he actually bites. So it's just coming up right here, like. And I was throwing a white frog.
Yep.
But I was like, it's sitting there. I haven't moved it yet. Twitch 1, twitch 2, and I was probably actually working it kind of fast at this point.
Oh, there we go.
So this is my second fish of the day. Nothing like that braid singing.
Yep. Heck yeah. Yeah.
But then I hung around and fished this area a whole lot more and never got another bite. But it gave me confidence. Really? Like, okay, that frog still working.
Yep. Look at all that slop.
Fish it slow.
Yep.
But like that was like those first 2 fish were key. Like I had like 2 fish for like almost 7 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, because then day 1 you came in with like 15 something, right?
Yeah. So then after this, I go to a smallie area that I had not caught anything in practice, but it had been good to me in the past. And we roll up there, and I'm throwing a Carolina rig, and I catch a keeper, like a 2-pounder, 2 1/4. It's like, feels good to get a third fish. My catches a keeper. We just caught like 2 fish in like 10 minutes. I was like, all right. 5-10 minutes later, I catch my 4th fish. And that was like a close to a 3-pounder, like smallie. So I got 4. Yep. And that's probably like, let's see here. 4th fish. Let me sort them. I can tell you here. Like that actually happened kind of quick for a second. But I want to say, like, we got there at like 10:30. I probably had 2 more fish by 4:11, but I fished it till like 12:30, thinking I was gonna get my 5th fish.
Yeah.
Like we sat there. I was like, we just caught 2. He caught 1. We got 3. I was like, I'm just gonna stay here till I catch my 5th one, because I got like 4 pretty good ones. Like if I get my 5th fish, like, but then I finally had to bail. Went to another frog area that I never fished. It's just a place that I like. So this is a funny story. On Monday, the day I didn't catch a single fish, I didn't get a good charge on one of my lithiums.
Oh.
And I was going back to look at a place where I caught a fish on Sunday in the morning, and I wanted to see it during the sun. And with the new water rising, like, was it getting blown out? Was it still going to be good? Get back there, start to fish. It dies. I try to fish with my talons down. And then I idle back to Stoddard, and I idled back through the strip, and I was like, man, this looks really good right here. Like, it was hard bottom, a little bit of current, super clean water. The grass was good, perch, bluegills. I was like hearing some popping. I was like, I think I might try this in the tournament. Never made a cast. Roll in there on day 1, make the cast on a sweet little point, and jack a 3.5 for my 5th fish.
Nice.
and that's at like 12:30. And I was like, man, that's gonna be a pretty good bag. And I was like lowballing the fish. I was like, man, this is gotta be solid. I gotta like 12, 13 pounds. That's gonna be a good bag for today. And then I weigh him and I got over 14. I was like,
yeah.
dang, that's gonna be really good. Like,
Yep.
so I like kind of move around there and I catch one. I call one more time. I catch one that doesn't quite help, and then I catch one that calls my smallie. And I'm like, good, like get rid of that smallie because sometimes they die and they do weird things.
Yep.
And I upgrade a little bit, and it's at 1488, like so almost 15 pounds on my Rapala scale.
Yep.
And then I was boat one, so I weighed in pretty early. Kyle, it was not the week in the knees fish. That was a different tournament, but that was Coronas on a buzzbait. I would like to order a new boat, but that has not happened, Darius. So yeah, I weigh in. I'm like one of the first, like I get in first flight. I'm probably one of the first 10, 15 people to weigh in. It pops up at 15 pounds, 9 ounces on the scale. I'm like,
Yep.
dang.
Yep.
Like take the tournament lead. And I was like, sweet, like that's gonna be an awesome bag. And then like I hang around, load the boat, and like turns out that was leading by like 12 or 14 ounces. Like I didn't think I'd be leading after day one. Like I was like, wow.
Yep.
So yeah, that was day one. Like I caught 7 keepers, only called once, and was leading the tournament. Didn't get a lot of bites. Didn't have a fish for the first almost 3 hours, but caught the right ones.
Yep.
So that was my day one.
Yep.
So your day two.
That clock went fast. You know,
yeah.
Like, I haven't
well, especially because you ran to 9 and you locked. That time really goes fast when you're at 9.
Yeah, and we were boat 18, so we were flight 1-2, and it was like, holy smokes, dude! Like, freaking 215 came around quick. Yep.
Yeah. Another shout out for you.
Yeah.
A couple guys chiming in.
What up, boys? Yeah.
Yeah. So you day 2, what was your draw? Did you like? So I stayed in 8 all 3 days. What did you do day 2?
So day 2, we ended up pretty much staying in 8. We were freaking boat 75, 73. I can't even remember now. It was one of those two numbers, but we got it mixed up. We thought we were like 75, and then we ended up like the guy kept calling a number, and we are like, oh, that's not us. That's not us. And then all of a sudden they're like, dude, you're boat 75. He's like, oops, our bad. So we ended up, getting in line. It was freaking like 7th. We were like 8th flight or something like that. And it was like, holy smokes, man! Like this is gonna be such a long day now, because freaking from 6:15 to 2:15. And then we ended up just staying in pool 8, and pretty much what we ended up doing was fishing wing dam.
Nice.
And that panned out actually pretty good for me because we were fishing at totally 2 different styles. So my boater, I got Lonnie Peterson and cool
Wisconsin.
guy.
Yeah. And he had a tough. He had like 13 pounds the first day, but struggled on day 2, right?
Yeah. Yep. And cool guy. He's actually a good friend of our Chippewa location where I work at the boat center. He's actually good friends with the manager there. So he ended up texting like, hey, dude, like, are you this guy that works here? I'm like, yeah, dude, that's me. And he's like, dude, I'm best friends with Justin and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, my God. He's like, yeah, tomorrow's going to be a blast. So if we get to that wing dam, and right away he's throwing a tube, and I was like, how I fish wing dams, or from the guys that I learned from, was, a chatterbait. So if you're not fishing right on top of it, you can throw a chatterbait, almost over it and just let it kind of fall down. And pretty much that's what I did, and that's this exact setup right here. I have that set up with a 6.3 Zillion with a medium heavy Kage all-purpose rod, 7.3. And these chatterbaits right here are just ones that I have a buddy that ties them up for me. So they're just hand tied. They're super awesome, and I have that paired up with a X-Zone mini slammer. So, and I was throwing 2 colors. I was throwing the all white and then the white and chartreuse. And as you can see, I don't have any more white and chartreuse because everything eats them. Even the one that you let me borrow is gone. Pike ate it, and so yeah, that's pretty much what I did, was just throw it over there, let that fall down and just slow roll it on the bottom. And that's why I stuck with the 6.3, so that I can actually keep it on the bottom. Where normally I throw with the 7, or heck, there's times I throw with the 8 just so I can get it on top of the weeds. But then that 6.3 really helped it stay on the bottom, and just slowly reel it. So that was my key bait right there, and that's how I ended up catching all of my fish.
Nice. So you both days you were doing something a little different than your boater, and you kind of maximized and kind of outperformed kind of what they did both days, to be honest. So that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, even my boater day 2 line, he looked at me. He was like, "Dude, I've never fished." He's like, he doesn't really throw a chatterbait much, especially on a wing dam, And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of how I grew up fishing wing dams. Is throwing a chatterbait and just slowly reeling it behind it, because the fish are there and they're gonna come out and eat it." So
nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one thing to try if you haven't tried it, and just throw a chatterbait on a wing dam to anybody watching. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Thanks for all you do. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
that's awesome.
Peter.
So Peter is shout out to Peter. He's the president of the Minnesota Bass Nation Minnesota Bass Nation. So
keeps us
that's
all
cool.
in line.
So how many keepers did you catch on day 2?
So day 2, I only caught 3 keepers. But the amount of fish that we caught total together, I can't even count. We caught so many fish, but like everyone, the same story. They're all short, because and anyone that doesn't know, on pretty much any part of the river is 14 or bigger. So you can sit out there and say, "Oh, I had a great day of fishing," but they're all 13-inch bass, so you can't even weigh them. It's actually illegal. So yeah, I mean, we caught so many 13 and a half or 13 and almost squeaking 14, and it was just like, we threw back so many fish, but yeah, I caught my 3 keepers that was they were just a key bite. And I came in with 8 pounds, 13 ounces day 2. And
solid.
Yeah. And after day 1, I was sitting in like the lower teens, and I was like, man, tomorrow, if I don't catch it, I'm pretty much out of it, and after seeing the scale, or actually after final weigh-in, I was like, holy crap, I'm sitting in 3rd. Like, I went from like 17th to 3rd, and that was exciting. So,
Yeah, that's sweet, dude. Logan says, what line, fluorocarbon, or what's your setup for chatterbait?
So I traditionally always throw just straight 14-pound fluoro, and I was all out of it, so I just kept enough of it to make it as a leader. But then I was actually throwing it on 30-pound Daiwa J braid, and I just spliced actually so with the river current. I don't know if you do this, Rich, but then normally I'm traditionally, if I'm fishing a lake, I stick with 20 and 17 higher stuff because of pike and how thick the weeds are. But then fishing the river so much growing up, I always downsize my line, because that current, with that line being thicker, that current pulls that line. So I was actually splicing it with 14, and my other chatterbait rod that I had was actually 12. So that by making that line a lot thinner, yeah, you do take that chance of it breaking off, but it's staying on the bottom, and that current not being able to pull it off makes the world's difference. So, yep, I use 14-pound fluoro with 30-pound braid.
How long a leader were you running?
Yeah, I was actually running it pretty long. I was almost, I would say, almost like 20 some feet, just so I can have a lot of line out there.
So it was almost like straight fluoro.
yeah, pretty much, but then that braid just helped it, just that when they ate it, it was instant. It was a hook set right away. I didn't have to make sure that, I pretty much just every fish I caught was leaning into it, because that braid. So, yep.
Yeah. Dermot, my favorite chatterbait rod is probably a prototype Dobbins rod that you can't get anymore, but the one I'm using most now is a Dobbins Sierra 734C. It's got a really modern action for a medium heavy that I really like. I'm not a big glass guy. I like graphite rods, so it's a pretty soft action graphite. And I think you said you were using a Kage all-purpose rod.
Yep, 73 all-purpose Kage. And that I'm the same way, dude. I tried some of the glass rods, and it just feels like I'm gonna whack the guy in the back of the boat, just because those rods just bend so much. And I've had it where some fish you feel them like they're pinned, and they're not. So it's like I just switch back to all graphite now. That's all I run now too. Nope, I'm the same. Can't go fast. Just can't do it.
I can picture Tad with a Budweiser in his hand right now.
Yep.
Way says favorite Daiwa reel ever.
My favorite Daiwa reel. Oh, I am. They just beefed it up to the newer SVs, but I love the first generation Tortilla SV. Yeah, this is my like all around favorite reel. Like I love this reel. I have a bunch of them. And I just started ordering some of the newer SVs, but these, don't get it wrong, I still have them with rods because I love these reels just because they're so versatile. They're so easy to handle. Casting in the wind. And not just that, I take a lot of people fishing too, so I can just like hand them that rod with that reel and they can just use it. So
nice.
That is my favorite reel.
Yeah, I like the Tortilla SVs quite a bit. I actually like the new Coastal SV quite a bit.
Oh, I haven't touched that one. I mean, I don't have one.
Yeah, and then another favorite of mine is an older 3000 Procyon that was kind of that purple. Like, I really like that reel. Like, that's for a spinning reel.
You and me both. I have two of them, and I can't. I just started buying some of the newer stuff, but I still have those two. Yep, I love those Procyons. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So yeah, my day 2, I take out dead last boat 90. Like, I actually run the same stuff in the morning that I ran the day before, which only produced 2 shorts, and I have a limit in the first hour.
Nice.
It probably weighs 9 or 10 pounds. Like, caught a couple on a Vixen, a couple on a Yellow Magic, 1 on a Frog, 3 smallies, 2 largies. One's just barely a squeaker, but I'm like, dude, I'm probably fishing tomorrow, right? Like, I got 9, 10 pounds. Yeah. I'm like, I probably made the cut. Now it's time to like do some work, run a few more things, go to my smallie stuff. And it didn't happen. Throwing the sea rig, and I'm literally kind of on the edge of it. And I'd fished up and down it like 2 or 3 times, but I was like, I'm not going to spend 2 hours on it like I did the other day, right? I'm not going to die here. I'm going to get to my frogfish sooner.
Yeah.
And I'm literally I'm like, my foot's on the trolling motor. I'm swinging to the left with my cast out, and my mouth is about to open and tell my we're about to leave.
Yeah.
And my rod goes, like, just like rips the rod out of my hand. And I like set back, and I'm like, big one, like giant, like, and it was like a 4 1/4 pound smallie. And I was like stoked. I'm like, I'm getting rid of like a 14-inch smallmouth, like that touched, but it was like made you nervous touched.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With like a freaking giant, like bigger than anything I caught on day 1. And I was like, dude, like, that's it. Like, I'm fishing. I got a good bag. Like, I probably like got almost what I got yesterday. Like, I'm probably like 14. Like, I'm like stoked, right? So we fished around there a little more. I think my co-angler had 1 fish in the morning. Or he had 2 fish at that point. And then we went and fished another little sand drop, little weed point. He got a 3rd fish, so he was pretty stoked. And then so the Carolina rig rod, because that was so instrumental. Like, I like the Dobbins 745 HP is what I throw. And I got this old school Cronarch, and I posted a picture of this on my like Instagram the other day, and I got so many messages about like, hey, how much for that Cronarch D? Like, But I got 20 pound on this, and then I was running 15-pound big game leader. I like that on the river because it's super tough and it floats up a little bit in the current, and same kind of thing, right? Like, downsize that leader a little bit in the current, and real short. Like, this was probably as long as I would go, 18 inches, and then I could retie it 1 or 2 times and get down to like maybe 10 or 12.
Yep.
And then just there's about 2 baits I throw on the river, and then one is a speed craw, and the other one is like a baby brush hog or a Strike King game hog, and just on a small EWG light wire hook right? So mono and light wire, so that bait can kind of do its thing in the current. But yeah, like this is kind of a sexy little color here, like this little blue green.
Look at that thing.
Like, but yeah, so I catch that one. Get my his limit fish, and I was like, we're gonna go hit some frog fish because I got some like 2 pound, like less than 2 pound smallies, 2 pound smallies, and head over to the frog spot. I nose right in on the key area that I got. Like I've got it figured out now, right? So come into the tournament, it's just a place that looked good. Day 2, I snatch a big one in a cull and one I can't use out of this mat, and I'm like, all right. So I come in a different angle, fish the mat, super slow. First fish, 3 pounder. Fish it. Second fish, 3 pounder.
Nice.
Fish it, like 2 3/4. Like it was like 3, 2, 9, 2, 8. Like get rid of all those smallies from the morning. I'm like,
yep.
Dang, this bag's getting pretty filthy now. Like I was like, and like it was interesting because I was throwing. It was sunny the first 2 days, so I was throwing. So one of my frog rods is the Dobbin Sierra 735 with the coastal that I was talking about, SV, which is a great frog reel. It's a little beefier. It's got a 150 size spool on a 100 size frame, so it holds more line for casting frogs. And then this reel handle is a little bigger, so it gives you a little more like winching power. But based on what the team was saying and in practice on the sunny days, this white colored frog. So this is like a discontinued true tungsten Mad Max frog. You hear that?
Them rattles.
So I was also throwing a few rattles in there. So I like to do that in the mats. But this one produced several nice fish. It produced 2 fish the first day that I weighed, and then 2 fish the second day. And this mat is like maybe 2 or 3 boats big. It's not big. And I caught 2 that I really had to work them. And then I kept throwing back in this one spot, and I kept on missing. And if you remember on day 2 in the afternoon, what happened at the end of the day?
That. What do you mean?
It got cloudy.
Like,
it got cloudy and the wind picked up.
Yeah.
So like I was like still had kind of a smallish smallie, and so I was like, man, that cloud just rolled in. So then I picked up the bronze eye, kind of a black and blue color on a Dobbin 746, which is a little bit more my distance frog and rod. I had the other one. This one's also got some sound in it, but like first cast of this, jacked a 3 pounder. Like,
nice.
And then I like threw back in there, and I had another one roll on it, and I was like, you know what? Like, he didn't get it, but I was like, instead of casting back there, I'm like, dude, I got like a really good bag. Like, I might need these fish tomorrow. So we kind of got out of there. I kind of pre-fished around with the frog. My missed a couple of fish. I missed a few fish in a different area. Roll back in the Smalley area just to kind of start working my way back up the river. And literally, again, was about to leave saying we're going to go check the spot up in Goose. And like, again, the Carolina rig goes, like in a 3.5 pound Smalley. And I was like, this bag. So and you'll see I actually like embedded this fish in my hand with an EWGB hook when I tried to land him and scoop him. So I've got video for day 2 of me like 3.5 pound Smalley hanging from EWG hook in my hand. We're like cutting it off and like getting the fish backwards off the hook and doing the line trick in the boat and like chaos. But like I was like, dude, I got a way bigger bag than yesterday. Like we got to start going north. Like I'm like I went through the slow wake zone. I didn't run the West Channel. Like and got in. I was like almost the last person to weigh. And I had like 16.5 pounds. Like, so 2 days in a row, I weighed the biggest bag in the tournament. Opened up my lead a little bit to like almost 2 pounds. It was pretty crazy. Darius got himself a zillion from Omnia. I haven't tried one of those, but they look sweet. You got any of those new zillions?
I just got one in. I've been beating up on it, and yeah, dude, they are freaking sweet. I freaking love that damn reel. Actually, I have it paired up with my Elite right now.
Nice.
Yeah, Brent Ayler Elite rod, and it's like, dude, it's like freaking awesome.
I'm trying to resist the temptation. I've used the 360 a little bit. I'm pretty impressed with what I'm seeing. I got to use a little bit on a weedline lake. Like the weekend before we left for La Crosse, I used it one time for like 3 hours. And then down La Crosse, it was pretty cool to see when I would fish sand drops or like closing dams and things like that. It was pretty cool to what I could see. So probably haven't leveraged it to its maximum, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah.
I was throwing a 1/2 ounce bullet weight tungsten on my Carolina rig. You definitely can use lead. Tungsten's not.
I didn't throw anything much, but I don't know what the boaters that I had. I think they were throwing give or take part of that same weight too. So
yeah, I would say 3/8 to 1/2 ounce is pretty common on the river, unless you're getting really heavy current.
Yeah.
We already talked about Milfoil Mafia, Nick.
Heck yeah.
Nick and I actually fished together on Pokegama in a state tournament.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember if it was day 1 when we actually caught him, Nick, or if I fished with you on day 2 when everything unraveled. I don't remember. I feel like it was day 2, but I'm not sure. Everybody's talking about their discontinued Jackal products. So yeah, anytime Jackal has a good bait, they discontinue it.
That's how they make it special.
The Yellow Magic is the same size as the Rico. I like the bigger Yellow Magic, and yes, they're almost identical in size and shape to the Rico, but cheaper, like $8, $6 or $7 cheaper. Fishing with Grams. All right, we're caught up. So yeah, that was my day 2. So we both know, like, you're sitting in third, non-boater side. I'm sitting in first, boater side. We know we're both getting paid, right? We're both getting a check, but we're like looking to finish this deal because only one person from each state's going to the Natty. You've got a much bigger lead. You have like a 7-pound lead. Going into day 2 on a 3-fish limit. So you basically go out and get a few bites and it's salted away, right?
Yeah.
Me, I got Connor who's catching like 30 fish a day right on my heels, like a 1.12 pound behind me. So I catch the 2 biggest bags of the tournament and I've got less than a 2-pound lead. And he's catching like 25 keepers a day, and I caught 7 the first day and 10 the second day.
Yeah.
So we have much different situations going out on day 3. So I go out with the first place Wisconsin guy, he's from La Crosse area, Dustin. He was really cool to fish with, and then you're going out with Adam
Ham or
Hammond.
Yeah, Hammond.
Who was 3rd overall, leading Iowa, having a really good tournament so far. So you're out boat 3, I'm out boat 1. You blast down to you probably passed me, I would imagine.
Yeah, we were booking. That was for sure because we had a long run that day.
Yeah, there's a couple of people that passed me early on. I imagine you were one of them. Heading down to pool 9, and you probably have one of the best days you ever had on the river.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, I probably had one of the best days as fishing just like as a cove. Like it was, like I keep telling everyone, fishing with Adam. Now I like I said, I can call him a friend, man. We got along so well because not just that we love fishing, but we actually do the exact same thing of the line of work. We're both boat mechanics, right around the same age. And it was like, dude, how do you get a pair like this? So we were like, we're going out as the young studs of the Derby, the young studs, and we were just joking. And then
did Cheetah just call me old? Did anybody catch that? I think he just called me old.
I can't grow anything, but then so yeah, I mean, we get to this first spot, and we're just fishing, weeds, and he just looks at me, he's like, dude, we're gonna have a blast, and get to that first spot, and right away he starts throwing a chatterbait, and like I said, day 2 I was already throwing a chatterbait, so it was like I already had all that stuff tied on, and he's burning in the Crosse, those weeds.
We should back up just a little bit. Sorry. So Cheetah, everybody's rigging up at the back of the country and in suites, and Cheetah's like knocking on boats, like knock, knock, knock. You got any white chartreuse chatterbaits? You got any white chartreuse chatterbaits?
So yeah, that I forgot to mention that. So after day 2, I lost like all my chatterbaits, and I had like one tied on. And it was the white one I showed earlier, and I was like, dude, but they're eating white and chartreuse, right? And our buddy Derek, one of the co-anglers, he was throwing a brown and gold, and I lost all my brownish, goldish color, green pumpkin colors, so those are all gone. And then I needed something, and it was already the night. I couldn't ask Peter and them to go and grab me anything. So it was just like, dude, I need it. And so I'm like going around. I go to Ron, I go to Tad, I go to Rich, and I'm just like, you guys got any white searchers, chatterbaits that you guys are willing to give me? And sure enough, Rich grabbed me one. I forgot. Yep, that guy right there, and those things, they work awesome.
Did you catch some on this in the tournament?
Yes. Yeah, I caught one of them towards
Nice.
the end there on it, and then it was already like, hey, we're done. Let's get out of here, and it was already time to run up because I finally lost the one I had. And then Ron gave me a bunch of green pumpkin ones, and I caught a bunch of them on that too. So yeah, thank you guys so much, man. I mean that little bit right there helped a lot, you know. But yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal tournament for me, you know.
Yeah.
It was moments where we were fishing, you know, and it was like we were laughing just because we were catching so much fish that we were throwing out 3-pounders. It was like, dude, this thing only weighs 3 on the dock. We don't need this, and we're throwing them out, just throwing them out. And honestly, I think that rain helped that bite a lot. I don't know how that rain affected you guys, but yeah, I mean, it helped us a lot. And it was a phenomenal tournament. It was yeah, like I said, it was magical, you know.
Yeah. So so I gave him a Super K clacking. I could have gave you a couple. I thought you had enough, so I would definitely given you more. But that's awesome you caught them. So if anybody, you can use the code HellaBass15 at Super K and get you some clackins if you need them.
There you go.
But yeah, so I'm guessing you were in a place where the south wind wasn't crashing on your stuff.
Oh no, we were fishing in that wind. It was.
Oh, you were? Okay, so there must have just been enough. So something happened because he's clearly fishing in the same spots, but something, either the current dropped or it picked up or the water got high enough or got low enough that things just clicked. Because I'm sure these sand drops that he was fishing were stuff that he'd been fishing all week, but clearly that one that you guys were on, the stars and the moon aligned and everything was perfect and they stacked on it and it was nuts,
pretty much.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much. And that's exactly what Adam said too. He was like, normally they're not right here. They're like, the juice is over there, but you know, he's like, no one's here with us, so he just started on that spot, and it was just like you said, man. The stars were aligned, and it was just magical. I mean, it was every cast back to back.
Yeah, I think it was more that like everything, the water level, the current, the bait, everything got right, and there were so many fish piled in there that they didn't care that it was south wind. They didn't care it was going against the current because there were so many fish there. They were just going to chew. So
yeah, it was definitely a magical moment. You know, it was, I mean, it was easily 20 some plus fish days, you know, and it was like, and that was like me alone, you know, and it was insane, you know.
Nice.
So,
that's awesome. So you guys going down, you wrecked them, you locked back early, you're eating sandwiches, like
order a pizza, just hanging out, right?
So did you guys? What time did you guys lock back up?
I think it was right around 12:30 ish. But even going back, so I caught my limit of bass like at 8:30. Yeah, it was like 8:30, and I ended up entering that into Bass Tracker, and on my Rapala scale it showed I had 8 pounds 8 ounces. So I entered that, and then I sent that in. Boom, it got updated. My phone just starts blowing up, and then I kid you not, my second cast right at that, freaking just boom, I catch a 361. Boom, I catch like a 308, and I rescaled it, you know, and just keep tracking. I was at like 9 something, and I was like, man, I'm not even gonna enter this. I'm just gonna leave that like an icing on the cake. So the whole night they were like, dude, Cheetah hasn't updated his tracker. He hasn't updated his tracker. I was like, I'm just gonna leave that in suspense and just you know, leave the anticipation out there. But I knew I had like 9. I didn't think I had 9-10. So yeah, I was super happy with that weight. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we locked up.
Your total was 9 pounds 10 ounces.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, we locked up around 12:30 ish. Yeah, give or take. I swear we did. And then we ended up fishing a few spots up there just to kind of see if we can upgrade any of our fish. But we caught a bunch of shorts. Caught a few that were keeper fish, but they weren't gonna help, you know. Yep, and then that was pretty much
Awesome.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Adam weighed like 18 pounds, something
Yeah.
like that. Big bag.
He was actually very worried. You know, he was like, "I don't think I got it. I don't think I got it." And I was like, "Oh no, dude, I think you got it, man. You got a big bag." You know, I was like, because he on his scale was like 17 something, and I was like, "Dude, I think."
So
like,
so
I
Cheetah was
think
basically expecting me to flounder. I get it. You didn't have any confidence. I get it. No.
I mean,
Nope.
it was one of those moments, you know. And I was like, I don't know, dude. Like I was like, don't worry. I was like, you know, I was like, I know Rich got some stuff still, so you know, it's gonna be a fight, you know. But yeah, it was one of those moments where it was just kind of like, yeah, it was just that type of day, you know. It's just the amount of fish that you catch. So yeah, but nothing against you.
That sounds just like my day 3, but not at all. So day 3, I run those sand drops in Goose Island.
Yep.
I get one tiny bite. Like it looked like something hit my popper with its mouth closed. Like it was clearly the wind was like, this isn't right. My co said he had one bump on a fluke that didn't eat it.
Huh.
We go to the next area, catch a couple short largemouth, a pike, run a bunch of stuff. Then I go to not getting bit. I go check that sand drop, catch a short or nothing there. Get to the smallie spot much earlier. Fish. Catch a couple shorts, nothing. I was like, ooh, this is not good. Get down to my largemouth spot at like 11, and I basically nose into that mat and I fish it for the next 90 minutes. Basically foamed it, like just like every 12 inches, like just dead sticking, like twitching that frog.
Yep.
I fish it for 15 minutes. I catch like a 3.5. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Fish it like another half an hour. I get another 3-pounder.
Nice.
Fish it for another half an hour, get another 3-pounder. Fish it for like another half an hour, never get another bite. And by this time, like you can't even see duckweed. It's just like lines in the mat. Like I just, and it had gotten shallow. Like when I fished it the first day, it was probably like 18 inches deep. The last day, it was probably like 9 inches deep. Like it was getting really skinny.
Yeah.
But those 3 fish weighed 10 and change.
Yeah.
So like I ended up getting beat by 5 pounds by Adam, which he had an awesome bag. Kudos to him. But like, dude, if I could have finished my limit, I would have given him all he wanted. I just my smallie stuff didn't go, and I only had one mat with largemouth in it, so it just ran out of juice.
Do you think that rain affect that, or
I think it was not the rain; it was the south wind blowing against the current that jacked up the smallies. Yeah, that was more the problem. Yeah. Shout out to Brian. I think I actually met Brian Vogelsing at Vermilion several years ago. So yeah, I think Alan. I think are you the guy from Cincinnati? We shook hands. I think at day 3. I don't remember exactly. I shook a lot of people's hands, but I'm pretty sure that was you. So yeah, but hey, I was like, I never got spun out. I fished hard to the very end, but I definitely got discouraged when it was like coming in and I had 3 fish. And I knew they were pretty good. I thought they were like high 8s, maybe 9 pounds, ended up being over 10 on the scale because I never bothered to weigh any of them. Yeah. Even the first day of the tournament, I never put a cull clip or weighed anything until after I had a limit because I didn't expect to catch a limit the first day, to be honest, or wasn't worried about culling.
Yeah.
And so I knew that like I was on good fish, but I also knew it wasn't like super robust. Like I knew at any time, like if something changed, it could like start to unravel. But you know, I went into that mat and I fished super slow and I got 3 good ones out of there. And I was like, you know, hopefully that saves me a decent check. Like I'm pretty sure like Connor was catching like 20 fish a day. Like he's gonna have 12 pounds at least. Like I've definitely blown nationals. I've definitely like not moving on. I got no shot to win this thing. And like I'm like at the dock because they made my boat wait till the end, last people to weigh in, right? And I see Connor and I can see he's like a little frustrated, but I'm like, he could be 13 pounds and still be frustrated because I'm pretty sure he probably felt like he needed 17 or 18, right? Like the way I was catching him, I'm sure he thought he needed to bust an atom bag to win, right?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't quite sure how to read him, and I was like, whatever, dude, I blew this. Hold off Tad and Witta, right? Because I caught him so good, unless they just caught like a freak show bag. And
freak show bag. Right?
And Adam definitely freak showed it on the last day, so kudos to him. But like then I get in and I start to hear like rumblings. And I'm like, did Connor really only have 2 fish? And I asked my buddy Michael, and he's like, do you really want to know? And I was like, at this point, yes, because like I'm about to puke off the dock because like I feel sick to my stomach. Like and then like when he told me that, I was like sensory relief, and I was like, dude, like everybody's like, dude, you're going. Like you did enough. Like he's like, because I had like 8 pounds in bass track, and I was like, yeah, I got at least that. And like, well, then you're definitely going. And I was like, that was a huge relief. And then like I find out like I ended up second. Like I didn't fall that far. Like I did enough. Like if Adam doesn't freak show it and he comes in because he was catching like 14 pounds a day. Like if he comes in with another 14 pounds, I win, right? Like so it worked out going to nationals. So we're gonna hang out. I think we determined frog the first day and chatterbait the second 2 days was your damage on the river.
Correct.
So what's up, Gabe? So let's I don't know, anything else to highlight from lacrosse? I mean, we got these cool commemorative coins.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I have my
So this is our participation trophy that we get at registration. With all the divisionals on it. And then for those going to nationals, you get one of these bad boys.
Heck yeah. Right there. One of them bad boys. Yep.
And then if you're a hammer like Cheetah and Adam, you get one of those big trophies in the back.
Yeah. Right there. Yep. Heck yeah. I don't think I put it down since.
Did it ride shotgun? Did you put a seatbelt on it? How did that go?
Oh, yeah. Throw a shotgun all the way back home, and I was just like, it was cool because I was running past other people that were in boats, and I was just like, yeah, champion right here. Oh, and I mean, I guess another highlight too. Like Kevin, he actually called me personally before regionals, and he was like, hey, like you're gonna bring your boat, like pretty much what are the pros and cons, and all of us that own a boat, we know that going as a co-angler, the number one thing you always say is, I don't have all my stuff, and that benefited me a lot, having my boat down there, even though it took up some space, but I had everything that I needed, at least until I lost it all. And then, but that helped out a lot, so if any of you guys ever in the future go out and you want to bring all your tackle, I guess the best thing to do is bring your boat, and it was sketchy. I was scared. I thought I was gonna get broken into, but over there they had cameras and they had everything blocked off, so you didn't have to worry.
There was definitely some sketchy people walking and riding their bikes past our parking lot every night. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, ooh, I got my 360 on there. I'm kind of scared.
I would like cover my boat and take my helixes off every night. But like Connor would just leave his helixes out, like all 4 of them. I was like, well, at least Connor's leaving the bait out for the rest of us. So
if they're gonna hit anyone's, they'll hit his because his is wrapped and it's gotta have it has to be worth more. So but yeah, I mean that's another advice. Just if you want to bring everything, then you gotta haul your boat down there if you have one. And it helped me a lot for sure.
Yeah. So what did you get for first place? Like $3,000, something like that, or
so
2,500?
First place as a co, you got 2,500. So that's that's awesome. That's my biggest winnings ever. And I mean that money I'm saving it pretty much. In case if anything pops up down to nationals, and I need money to go do something. So, and then that's. I don't know because we end up getting third as a team. So
yeah, so we'll get like $100 down the road for the third place team per person. So. If Mr. Johnson doesn't lose the check, we'll do the best. Let's see. Bill, good point. we're not allowed to use nets at regionals. Otherwise, Cheetah definitely probably would have tomahawked a few of Adam's fish off for me, right? He would have probably gone with like the overhand
My
net.
bad, dude. My bad. I've never net before. Yep. Yeah, I mean that helped because if I would have caught him on a net rig and there was no net, that would have been pretty stressful if I would have had.
Were you boat flipping them smallies or those
Yeah,
largemouth?
Yep.
Yeah. It was nice when I got a frog bite because it would just be like,
Yep.
Those smallies would make me a little more nervous. I'd scoop them, especially that first topwater fish in the current.
Yep.
Brent, we can talk about the meetings. Ron was our captain, Ron Mayer. He did a great job. He was voted captain, which worked out good because I feel like if I would have been in the top 10, I would have probably gotten roped into being a captain. So it was good that was elected before I got there. Ron, Mark, those guys did a great job. The team, I think, worked well together. We didn't have a lot of stuff to share because we weren't getting a lot of bites. But there was enough information being shared to help people get on fish and make the adjustments. Like without those meetings, I don't know that I ever would have slowed down my frog enough to make the adjustment. So they were super important.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. It was like guys down there, that frog bite was super slow. So after hearing what every boater was doing, it helped all of us just like, all right, it's a few twitch here and there and just leave it. And, it really did. And I went out and pre-fished on my boat too. And after my first meeting with everybody, my second time I went out, that's exactly what I did. I slowed down my frog. And then I started getting bites where it was like, oh, this is a good fish. I'm going to shake it off, and so those meetings were, I would say, very, very helpful, and like I said, very informational and just hearing from you guys, it's like, these are the guys that are actually spending all that time out there, and so us co-anglers just pretty much sat and just listened, and just soaked it all in. So
and we switched it up. I think honestly, I feel like we got a little unlucky. Honestly, I feel like our co's got a lot of tough draws. Like our co's drew a lot of guys that didn't catch fish, like zeroed or caught like one fish. Like they just were not on them. Like so where we got beat first, like our boaters absolutely hung, probably had more weight than every other team. First, we had 5 guys fishing the final day.
Yeah.
On the boater side. But and honestly, I don't blame our co's. I think they fished hard. I think they listened. They did the right. But honestly, I think they got a lot of. I mean, like he'd come in and be like, Drew would be like, "You didn't catch any fish today." No, I didn't catch any. Did you? My boater also zeroed. Like he just, it was like, or it's like I caught one and my boater caught one. Like it was just like really bad. So I think it was a little bit unfortunate.
No, I agree.
Let's see here. All right. Basically, it was so late because somebody had some personal things come up at home. Literally, just days before.
How you got in.
Yeah, that's why it was so late. It was a freak thing. Something happened at home. So, but yeah, it was cool. So now we're headed to Natty. Natty happens fast, right? We qualified back in August, or at least you did. So we had like a full year, right, before this tournament came up. I only had like 24 hours, but now Natty is first week in November.
Yeah.
And so we're going. We'll probably get some information here in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be typically there's like 2 or 3 official practice days right before the tournament. Then there's like a 2 or 3 week off limit. And so it's on the Ouchita River, West Monroe, Louisiana, which is a really cool place. Actually, I'll show you this like here. I've actually been here in 2014. I was here, but this is what this place looks like. It's like Duck Dynasty, cypress trees, like alligators.
Man.
Like it's like legit cypress swamps, like dirty water. Oh, I think I actually catch a fish here. This was my first keeper on day 1 of the last time I was at Nationals. I think it's a 14-inch minimum down there too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, look how cool this water looks down there.
Hell yeah. Look at that. Yep.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, here's the spillway, the infamous Darbone Bayou spillway. If you can get to it. But like current, cypress knees, all kinds of nasty stuff. It's kind of a cool place.
Yeah, I've been watching freaking videos and all that ever since we qualified. So I've just been, just doing homework, research, pretty much.
Yeah, and so what we're fishing for down there. So, quick question, Mr. Snipes. Usually the tournaments are 8 hours per day, so that's how long we're fishing. And so what we're fishing for, right? Like we're both fishing to make the Bassmaster Classic. The top 3 in this tournament go to the Bassmaster Classic. There's 50 boaters, 50 non-boaters. Cheetah does have an opportunity. If he can catch him good enough as a non-boater the first 2 days, he can move over to the boater side for day 3. So that's the big goal. There's an elite berth on the line. The winner overall gets the Elite Series berth. The top 3 go to the Classic. There's some other things like that. There's cash prizes. It's a big deal. Like this will be my 3rd time. The Bass Nation Nationals is basically like a mini Bassmaster Classic. They run it just like a mini classic. It operates the same way so that when you get there, you're not in shock and awe if you make the classic. Like they have accommodations. It's all set up. We all stay at the same hotel. There's a very strict itinerary. There's a boat yard. You bring your boat in full of gas and oil on day 1, like of practice. And then it's like there. You don't get to it. They have they go out in order for the practice days. You come in at a time. They run the practice just like a tournament. They put your boat in for you every day and take it out. Every night they fill it up with gas for you. There's like dinners every night and meetings and entertainment. If you bring a spouse down, they have like activity buses. It's all very structured. The one thing I will say is you need to make use of your time. Like your boat's in the boatyard. You can't go out there at 10 o'clock at night and work on your stuff. Like you can only be in the boatyard in your boat at very specific times. So you work on your tackle. Like when you come in at practice and you're waiting for them to pull you out, you're like tying up, respooling, like when they're driving around, you're doing even in the tournament, when you're getting ready to weigh in and you're waiting, you're probably working on tackle because after you weigh in, you only get an hour and then you go back to the hotel. So it's pretty crazy. It's a really big deal to make nationals.
So now you've been down there. So then how does that work? And you've been down there as a boater.
Yeah.
All right. So now how does that work out in a co-angler? So like for say, can I bring my boat down and go pre-fishing and do all that, or is that not allowed?
You can. We'll have to see what the schedule comes out. So last year I fished. Brian Larson was the co from Minnesota, and he brought his boat down, and he was able to use his boat for the unofficial days of practice. But during the official day of practice, you would not be able to use your boat. You will there will be 1 or 2 official days of practice, however they set it up, where you will fish with me. Fish with your states. So depending, we can talk about that once we see the schedule. If you want to bring your boat down and do your own thing, otherwise, obviously, we can hang out and break down this river and figure it out together. So we'll see what that schedule looks like. But you definitely cannot practice during the official days out of your boat. You'll be with me. So it looks like similar. There'll be some similar techniques. There's not grass to speak of that I remember. It's hard cover, rocks, wood, cypress knees, banks, probably spinner baits, square bills, jigs, real Bubba, old school 1988 Bassmaster magazine,
throwing a sea rig.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, probably even more 3 foot and less, like what you see here, square bills and stuff like that. So it's muddy water. It's not going to look. You ain't going to find that crystal clear water filtered out by the eelgrass like you do in the Mississippi. Yeah, good reminder for Tim. If you guys are enjoying, if you're entertained, if you want to read either one of us on, hit that like button. That'd be awesome. That's for sure. Yeah, swim jig. Yeah, I mean, this place is like, if you ever watched Duck Dynasty back in the day, like that's what this place is. Like it is literally, there's alligators, 100%. There's lots of gar. It's a pretty unique fishery. It's a wild place, and like as far as hazardous on a boat, the Mississippi is a picnic playground compared to this place. Like this place is so unforgiving, so nasty. Like you may not be so excited to bring your boat down after you see this place.
Like, yeah, I have one of my prop blades is gone. It's in one of the stumps.
Yeah. So there is a place called the S-Turns when you're going up the Darbone Bayou. And it looks like it's a straight channel because of the way they clear cut it. But actually, there's like this really sharp S-turn in the channel.
Oh.
And it's only like, I'll say 4 or 5 boat widths wide.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, if you get outside of that, game over. Like it's... And on the second practice day, last time I was down there, I like had a momentary lapse of judgment, didn't realize where I was, and I realized I was going right over one of the S-turns.
Oh.
And I let off the gas in my dad's Triton, and I landed on a stump, and I ripped a gash in his fiberglass all the way through the gel coat into the fiberglass, 6 feet long in his boat.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that story. Jeez. Yep.
Yeah. Ooh. So then I practiced with another guy that let me use his boat. Shout out to Brett Reed, youth director from Ohio. He took me out basically, but I like fished completely different out of his Ranger. I was like super like cautious, and then I fished. They were able to patch it in town in a glass shop. Took my dad's boat up, but that definitely like played mind games with me after I did that.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I'm definitely not getting my skeg fixed before I go down there. Skegs are overrated and they're bad luck. I don't know how the hurricane hit that area. That's one of the things that like we need to research is figure out, did the hurricane affect Monroe? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, we just talked about it at work, and I was kind of, oh crap, yeah, that's right.
But it's that's cool. West Monroe, cool town. Last time we were down there, we ate some super good food. We had like fried catfish and like Southern food. Right. It was super good. Cool town, good fish. Now they got some good like sporting goods shops down there. If we have an off day, they got some good some shops with some cool tackle.
Nice.
But
see what the locals pack up in there. And...
So the other thing that was different. Last time I was there in 2014, we did not have co-anglers. Last year at Pickwick, we did have co-anglers, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah, see, yeah, that's my main thing is just kind of like how does it work on the co-angler side? Like what can we bring, what can't we bring, and kind of like
I would say it's pretty much the same as divisionals, but you catch 5 fish instead of 3.
Oh, okay, nice. Yep.
You are more likely to ruin your prop without a skeg, but. Nice. Kamara says congrats.
Oh yeah.
The weights. Last time we were down there, like 10, 12, 13 pounds was a good bag every day. Like you could catch a bigger bag, but like that was really solid if you were catching a low double-digit bag.
Yep.
Getting a limit down there is a big, like you catch a limit and you get 1 or 2 good bites. That's a good bag down there.
Oh, you're talking about down for Natty, right?
Ouchita, yeah.
Really? Oh shit. For some reason I was thinking like, man, you gotta catch 18 pounds. You know, just southern lakes, right? That southern lake mentality of just there's biggins everywhere. You know, and it's like I was thinking like, crap, I gotta catch for me to be even a quota, be able to bump up. You know, and I was like, I'm gonna have to try to catch 18 pounds in the back of the boat every day. You know. I was like, I
don't think it'll be that much. Unless it's changed a lot since 2014, 15. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I was a little bit concerned about that. But then now we don't. It'll still be a random, kind of like how everything
Yep.
is, right? Random. Okay.
Yep. You won't. The only thing you know for sure is you won't be fishing with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
In the
because that
tournament.
doesn't.
Yeah.
They won't do that, right? Correct.
Yeah. You can't get paired with a guy from your own state.
Yeah. Oh.
Brandon says congrats.
Heck yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, so I don't know. You got any other questions about the natty that you were curious about, or
No, that was my main thing right there. Just kind of figure out like how so. I mean, so now with that so because they cover pretty much everything, right? So
yeah, I mean,
like
we're good. Like the Minnesota Bass Nation gives us a little stipend of expense money, which is good. Like the official practice days, they will cover the hotel room. I know last year we got down there a little bit early, Brian and I, and we rented. He rented I don't know, Airbnb or something for a couple nights.
Yep.
So that might be something that we have to do if we find out that like there's a couple nights of unofficial practice. Then maybe we'll figure out some lodging or something like that. So
yeah. See, that was my main thing. Just like kind of figure out that and like like expenses for like food and all that. Like, we still have to manage that on our own.
Dude, they fed us almost every night.
Oh, really?
When I was there in Pickwick, like the 2 nights we stayed in our own, obviously, had to do our own dinner, but like once we got into the hotel, I don't remember spending money on food. Actually, no, it was one night that I had to go. I went and got like a burrito or something, like a Chipotle knockoff or something. But yeah, like
it wasn't a big one like Brent Haynes was saying, right? That's bigger than me.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But no, that's all I got, man. I'm excited, and awesome. Congrats again that you qualified, and I'm excited to go down and go freaking try to, win this thing.
Dial it in. You're gonna be throwing the net heads, teaching me how to catch them on finesse around Cypress.
There you
That's
go.
really awesome. Matt, it is not on TV. There is Bass Track, so there'll be like a live blog and a Bass Track, so you can follow along online and kind of for those that enter it. I've been pretty good about putting my Bass Track on for the last couple of regionals and the Natty. And then the weigh-ins will be streamed live, just like the regionals, and then obviously there will be video coverage on the HellaBass YouTube channel.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And we'll get to know. We're gonna have Cheetah in the boat. We're gonna interview him. I'm gonna have him do a midday update like Kevin did. So
yeah, hell yeah, that'll be exciting.
So yeah, to be determined whether we carpool, whether Cheetah's gonna bring his boat down. I guess we'll find out what the schedule looks like and what he wants to do. But we'll definitely be spending some time together down there for sure. It'll be like stepbrothers. Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, right. Right. We're gonna come in here and fuck shit up. That's gonna be our main thing right here. Yep.
I have thought about live streaming all day. I just seems like another thing. Like I've already the GoPros already add a certain amount of distraction to get that set up, and then to have like my phone running. I just maybe someday, but probably not going to be this tournament. So, cool, dude. Anything else you want to talk about? Any shout outs? Any mentions you want to?
I mean, getting to where I am here, definitely shout out to, like I said, my boy Pete, and with those guys helping out so much, especially with Iowa, freaking Stellar Bassmaster and Melville Mafia, my clubs and those guys taking good care of me, and definitely anyone watching, my family and friends, the lady, the girlfriend Chong, she's been there ever since and just keeps pushing me, and I love it.
She signed you up when you weren't sure.
Yeah,
just remember
exactly.
that.
So we always make a joke. He's like, yeah, she's my foundation. So if I ever have a manager, it's gonna be her for sure. But yeah, no, man. I mean, for sure, and and just I'm excited and when we get down there, and hopefully they let us know what's going on sooner than later. It's coming up quick, So yeah.
Yeah, I can go back and look at my emails and figure out when they sent stuff last year. Yeah, it's awesome. We'll be stoked. It'll be good times. Yeah, and I guess Milfoil Mafia, Stellar, you think they're looking for any members? If guys are like, hey, this sounds cool, I want to fish the Bass Nation, I want to be like Cheetah and Rich, like.
Yeah, I mean, and like a lot of people don't realize it, but a lot of clubs, they're always looking for coals. Boaters are definitely a must. You need them too, but coals definitely are a very beneficial thing to have in every club. So, us definitely contact me, or you can find me on Facebook, or Nick Madison. Just shoot us a message, and we can walk you through on what's going on, or Jeffrey at Stellar. Yeah, I mean, definitely those guys are always looking too. But any guy, or like St. Cloud State Husky Bass. I mean, when I was there, we were always looking for guys to fish. So you're a guy going to college, definitely go up there and sign up. Their bass club is still active, and they fish everything. So for sure.
A-Red, I am pretty sure there's a Bass Nation in Virginia for sure. So I'm not sure how to get a hold of them. If you send me a DM, I bet you I could find somebody that could find you and put you in the right direction. So if anybody's out there looking for a bass club, can't figure out how to do it, send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. I'll help you figure it out. Like it's super underrated. I mean, like guys like Iconelli, Polinick, Summerall. Like there's so many guys that made it through the Bass Nation. There's definitely clubs and nations in your area for sure. Mm-hmm. So, and if you can't figure it out, I'll help you out. Completely underrated and under tapped into, in my opinion. And like I said, like selfishly, hey, less guys in the Bass Nation, better for me. Right. But like, hey, I'd like to see more guys get in the opportunity. Like, like hook setters, they're a huge club. They're always looking for guys too. There's so many. So if you're serious about getting into a club, you can't figure it out, send me a message. I'll help you out. Fish the Bojangles with Epic Eric. But no, there's definitely Bass Nation clubs in your area. I know we can find them. I think we're getting towards the end. We've hit almost 2 hours. If you guys came in late and you want to hear Cheetah's story and the whole process, the Bass Nation, all that, you can catch the replay on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you're watching it. Plus, you can search HellaBass on your favorite podcast app. I'm going to make Cheetah listen to podcasts on the way down to Louisiana. So, you can catch all those replays. Make sure you support Omnia and Arsenal and Super K. They make all this stuff happen. And appreciate all you guys tuning in. We had like almost 60, 70 live viewers. The podcast is growing. There's like several hundred people downloading the podcast every week. We've got hundreds of people on YouTube and Facebook, which is awesome. So I appreciate all you guys. And if you didn't catch my Instagram stories and stuff like that, I truly appreciate all the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram comments when I was down, people that were watching the weigh-in, watching Bass Track, watching all that stuff, like cheering me on, giving me texts and messages and support. I maybe didn't get back to all of them. Maybe I just liked them or something like that, but I saw them all. So that's awesome. And like you were talking about, like I didn't touch on it earlier, but like I was updating my Bass Track, you were too. And like you would update your Bass Track, and then you'd put your phone back in your pocket because you didn't want to be looking at your phone and be accused of like looking at information. But you'd hear like the text go boom, 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 because you knew your buddies had a group text going, right? Like your club group text. And then you just be like, yeah, they're seeing it. Like you just hear your phone like just going boom, 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 boom. Like
no, I mean, I have an Apple Watch, so it's hooked up to my phone. So my watch is literally like just shaking the whole time I'm fishing. I'm like, gosh, like stop texting, man. But I mean, that's why I love those guys. The guys at the Mafia. I mean, they were sitting there the whole time, just like, dude, you got this, man. You're the man. You're gonna win. And it's like, holy smokes, like stop, just let me focus and fish.
So that's awesome.
I want to say thanks for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure, dude. And I'm excited. I'm excited for us to go down there and just try to win this damn thing.
Yeah, so this will not be the last you see of Cheetah. He will be on the channel again in November for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this thing up. Shout out to Tad for hanging out in the chat. All the other guys that are on the team, Ron, Michael, everybody that helped, and Connor. I mean, there was 20 guys, too many to mention all. So I don't want to pretend to forget everybody, but it was an awesome team. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the support. And I appreciate everybody that tunes into these every week. Working on a guest for next week. We'll keep these rolling for a little while. Obviously, we'll be taking some time off in November. But as always, here to help you guys catch more big bass and suck less.
All right.